What is up, Packer fans? Back again. Packers won. Malik Willis got the W. It was like 12 of 14 for under like 150 yards. A touchdown, though, to Dontavian Wicks, who caught a ball this week. He dropped his passes last week. No catches last week. But Packers, big win. Josh Jacobs, 32 carries, like 152 yards. That is insane. Just under a 5-yard a carry average. For that many carries, that is quite the workload. I know Emmanuel Wilson got in there running hard, and so was Marshawn Lloyd. The Packers had over 50 rush attempts for the first time since like the 70s. So for Green Bay, this is amazing. What a way to win at home. The first game of the season at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson, the big-armed second-year player out of Florida, came in, and everybody was talking about how last week he didn't have that many yards or that many attempts or that many completions, but he had 2 long bomb touchdowns. One ball went over 65 yards in the air, so the Packers really had their work cut out for them this week, and they really did well, holding them to really no points until late into the game. The Packers defense got an interception again early with X, and then they got another interception with Eric Wilson. This pick and this guy playing football for the Packers, Eric Wilson. Last year, he was the savior in the 49ers game, got Keyshawn Nixon's fumble on the kickoff return. Obviously, we didn't end up winning the game, but if we didn't get that fumble recovery at that time, the game would have been over for sure. So Eric Wilson coming in now. Now he's kind of that starting outside backer as they kind of work Edger and Cooper into the fold, and with McDuffie on the other side and Walker in the middle, kind of using Cooper and Wilson interchangeably. Wilson comes up with a big interception, huge turning point for the Packers there. And then at the end, kind of when Richardson was trying to make some plays, he threw it up and it got intercepted again. So for the Packers, 3 interceptions in the game. That's huge. Last year they had, I think, 7 all season. This year they already have, I think it's 5 on the year, and then the turnovers, they had a forced fumble. Eric Wilson again, where it went out of bounds. One of the receivers for the Colts pushed it out of bounds. So really a big time win. Not scoring a lot of points, not throwing the ball a lot. The receivers, Watson, I don't even think he had a catch. I know Dobbs had a really nice catch. We saw him go up and get the ball. That's you going up and making a play for your receiver, helping the receiver when or the quarterback when he needs it. The receiver making a big play. Dobbs going out there and doing that for his quarterback. Jaden Reed always doing something on the field, catching balls, getting the ball in the backfield on handoffs and jet sweeps and everything. So really exciting to see what the Packers kind of did. Some of those weird motions and guys going this way and that way and then handing it off up the middle or getting into the outside. It was really nice to see some of LaFleur's wrinkles as you would. So it's kind of cool to see that and just see how the Packers were able to run the ball. Obviously, the second half, the Colts really kind of stepped up and stopped the run, forced to stop the run. And Willis, we didn't really put the ball in his hands too much to make mistakes. LaFleur even said it would have been kind of reckless to do that before the half, to throw him in there when you had a 10-point lead and try to do something there, because that's when something could go wrong. So LaFleur really kind of eased into things. He didn't really have to break out of the shell much, got to stick with the game plan. And the Packers defense, along with the running game, really allowed for this first start for the Packers, for Willis, to become a victory. I really thought going into it we could win, but everybody was kind of riding high with the Colts. They were close against the Texans last week in week 1, and so it was kind of like, well, if Richardson plays real good, this defense is going to have to step up big, and we might have to put it into Malik's hands to kind of, throw the ball, but that wasn't an issue. That wasn't the case. The Packers came out on top. It was only 16-10. At the end, the Colts, started scoring some points. The Packers offense wasn't moving the ball like they were in the first half, and it looked like the Colts might come down and maybe try to score, and it ended up being another interception. So Green Bay, what a game. I know the defensive line really tried to play well. There's some times where you're just not seeing the kind of pressure you'd like to, but all in all, I think, Gary did not get a sack, but you saw Lucas Van Ness really getting in there. Devontae Wyatt got a sack. So there's the defensive line stepping up. Obviously, the back end, Jair played really well. The corners, really kind of shut down the receivers for the Colts. I know Pittman didn't really have a big game. I know Pierce didn't really have a big game. I know he had one good grab, but other than that, Mo Alley Cox, he had his one catch, so I think the tight ends didn't really get involved a lot for the Colts in the first game, so we were kind of trying to see how they would kind of get them involved this week. Packers really did a good job kind of just keeping everything in front of them. And then it comes down to stopping Jonathan Taylor. You know, Anthony Richardson's still young, still kind of raw. You can see the talent and the flashes, but the offensive line, the defense of the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor are kind of the namesakes. And right now, Jonathan Taylor is still a top back, premier back in this league. He just led the league in rushing yards a year or two ago. And so I know Josh Jacobs led the league in like 2022, but it was either the year before or the year after that. Well, it wasn't the year after. But anyway, so I know that Taylor, that was probably 2021 that he led the league. And so he's really capable of being a top back. And the Packers, he did get 100 yards against us, but it was no real long runs. Didn't really break the game open. Wasn't really able to sustain any drives. And then the one time when they got down to 3rd and 2, they went with some option play to Trey Sermon. And so everybody was wondering why they didn't just hand it off up the middle to Jonathan Taylor on like a 3rd and 2, and they ended up losing yards, and then I don't know what they did on 4th down, if they went for it, if they had a punt, but either way, so the Packers coming out on top, stopping the run, really running the ball well, really well. Over 200, like almost 250 yards rushing in the first half. That's insane. They didn't end up with that much more than that at the end of the game just because Colts kind of stuffed the run towards the end in the middle of the game there after halftime. But Malik Willis, ran the ball well, threw the ball well. Like I said, completion percentage up there, quarterback rating up there, did get that touchdown to Wicks. So all in all, he played well. I don't think they really asked him to do everything that they had ready for him to do because they didn't need to based on how the game flow went and how the things went in the game. But for the Packers to get a W, week 2 of the season, first game at Lambeau, home opener, for them to get a win, I think they're going to look back at this game and and really be able to look back at this and say that it was a really important win. It's going to add up to all the other wins, obviously. Hopefully, Jordan Love can get back here. I don't know if it'll be next week against the Titans or the following week against the Vikings, but either way, I think he'll be back sooner than later. Malik Willis played well enough to win, and going into Tennessee next week, I think he can do the same as well. So for Green Bay, getting a big W against the Colts, again, the season home opener, and the rest of the team really stepping up. Defense, turnovers 3. Like I said, they're already on pace to be past last year's total for interceptions, and that's next week if they get 2, they'll tie it at 7. That's insane to me if you think about Joe Barry's defense last year, not really forcing the turnovers, already 5 this season, and you can just tell the guys are excited to play that defense. Their eyes are on the quarterback, and guys are making plays. So really exciting to see how this defense kind of formulates over the course of the year, and then hopefully we get Jordan Love back. But all in all, a great win for the Packers, and let's keep it going. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and peace out, guys. Go